Welcome you guys to my part two review of this episode. There's only one thing, one part that was left for me to do, and that was actually going back to Wessex. So we have King Egbert pretty much on horseback, and his nobles and people pretty much following him. He's on his way back to the Viking settlement, and there's a little bit of animosity, quiet animosity, and people just sort of staring at him with a little bit of disgust, somewhat. So Egbert feels it, especially the two behind him. He's like, "Listen, I know you got to talk behind my back, so at least say it, whatever you got, what's on your mind, to my face." So pretty much they're saying that they don't necessarily agree with the Viking settlement, and that they feel as though if the Viking settlement is necessary, that there should be some type of compensation, like the Northmen teach them how to contract, how to pretty much create their own, their boats. They can learn more about how the Northmen create their own boats, whatever, and they pass knowledge to them, whatever. So King Akbar's like, "Listen, the reason why this is happening is because the Vikings are being like mercenaries, helping us take back Mercia for our puppet queen, Queen Quinthrith. All right, that's the purpose of this. All right, the Viking settlement, how's it gonna be? No one really knows. You know what I mean? But as for right now, this is good for us. This helps us extend our land for us to gain an even bigger kingdom. You know what I mean? To add to our military and all that strength. So if you guys think that I'm a bad king, don't deserve to be the king of Wessex, then speak if you dare." And I swear, this is probably like the first time I ever seen like Egbert in like straight up badass. Well, he always been a badass, but like in straight like I don't want to fuck with this dude type mode. This is like the first time, and he's just so natural, just so calm about it, And everyone is just fearful. No one says anything. Anyways, we continue on. They arrive at the settlement, and pretty much Egbert gives like a different type of a new and evolved whatever type of plow, whatever that will help with them with the sowing, of the crops, whatever, for the harvest, which is going to begin, I believe, that day or the next day. So pretty much, he says, everything is good. Everything. Plowing and fertilizing, it's good. It's very good. And when he said plowing, I merely thought of just banging. Seriously. And the fertilizing and the other shit he mentioned. I know Lagva knew that shit too. That they've been feeling each other the last few episodes, whatever. He'd been whining and dining her, especially giving her those little necklaces from the previous episode and all that shit. And she knew exactly where he was coming from. And I was just laughing. I couldn't stop laughing. But yeah, so he pretty much says to Lagva that her and Atherton are invited to come to the villa, anytime they want, So she accepts and whatever. So they go to the villa, and they go to the bathhouse. And Lagtha's like, "Damn, I didn't know a bath was this big," And Egbert also shows her the pagan gods, the Roman gods. And he says just like hers. And she's like, "No, King Egbert, their god is not like my gods. My gods are as real as you and me, and as real as this moment," And that seemed to turn Egbert on even more. So, and it's interesting during this, you have Judith, who the second episode seemed to get a little bit more sexual, more upfront about it. In this episode, she seems to be more kind of resisting, like literally resisting. Like when they're in the bathing house, just through her facial expressions, her eye movements, it was like she felt uncomfortable there. She didn't want, to be there at all. She was just like holding on, especially when they was in the baths, and Egbert was pouring the wine, whatever, and you have Athelstan, he was pouring the wine, and Judith giving her that look like, and she had her boobs covered the entire time. You could definitely tell she was like, "Oh Lord, please let me sin tonight," So, during this bath scene, we pretty much are told about Francia. Egbert mentions that they get their wine from Francia, that Francia is even richer and wealthier than they are. And Lacta's like, how far is this Francia, this Paris? Athelstan mentions that he'd been to Francia/Paris before, and that, they have large walls and ramparts, and that they're on an island in the middle of the Seine River. And he was saying it was like a dream. Pretty much, Francia is just straight up beautiful, So, after that, you have Lagatha and Egbert just making out. Probably going to have sex, most likely. and she gets on top. You know, it's Alatha always loves being on top. Anyways, we have Judith leaving and Allison following after her. Judith says pretty much that she had sinful thoughts, that she wanted to do the same thing pretty much Lagatha and Egbert was doing, but saying that she was married and that she was a Christian woman and what's wrong with her. You know what I mean? And you have Allison comforting her, saying, listen, the Lord knows of our weaknesses and our trials. And you have Judith pretty much saying, I'm tired. You have this really close-knit and great scene where her just saying she's tired, seeing a tear come down her face. You can tell that at this point it's not truly lust with Allison. At first I thought it was lust. I think she probably generally, most likely now, she generally likes the guy. You know what I mean? And she's married, and at this time, it's like, damn, what the fuck can she really do? She likes this guy, but she's married to someone who she doesn't love, and this time frame is like so frustrating. You know, so Allison once again, you know, kind of lifts her up a little bit, and they have this really good scene when they look into each other's eyes, whatever. You know, they say the eyes is like the beholder of the soul, or something along those lines. You could just see the emotional connection, yet the sexual tension at its height. And you have Judith immediately leaving before she did something that she might end up regretting. And you have Allison just looking on, you know, into the distance, you know, after that. So pretty much, I believe the next scene is pretty much Egbert and Judith pretty much agreeing to show up to Lagatha and Athelstan Scandinavian sowing of the harvest crop ritual. So when they show up, you know, they see, you hear the drumming going on. You see people, the Scandinavian people of the Viking settlement, pretty much with their their little thing on fire, whatever, just walking towards, you know, the event, whatever. Lagatha is in white. You know, she pretty much making a little prayer out to Freya to replenish, you know, filled with seed, the earth, we give you the sacrifice. Now, I don't know, I feel as though it probably connects to Lagatha when she had that tear come down her face. It's probably her reflecting on her and Ragnar's relationship, and because she couldn't, in quotes, you know, give him the seed that was necessary, her marriage ended. So in a way, even though she likes Egbert, she's in a way whoring herself out for someone she doesn't really care about because she has no one really she loves and cares for herself for Ragnar. But that's just the way I interpreted it. So anyways, we see the Vikings pretty much cut the cow's head off, and I believe the stomach of it. And you see the Wex people, they're in shock, they're in awe. They're like, oh my god. You should have seen, like, literally Judith's eyes are like this. You know? And Egbert and everybody they were like this doing the Christian sign. And at this point, Allison's like, listen, I've been with these people for 10 years. All right, I am no longer frail about this shit. This is how it is. I'm good. I don't need no fucking, this is whatever to me. I'm used to this shit. So you have, at one point, Athelstan and Judith holding hands. I thought was a really touching moment. And then when you see Lagatha have the blood of the cow pretty much poured all over her body, that's when shit started to get real. You know what I mean? When Egbert really started, you could see, the mind was rolling. You know what I mean? And you have him being both curious, but at the same time, he doesn't really show emotion. You can tell that he's curious about it, or this is something he's never seen before. And then when you hear about the people in the background, especially the two jackasses who weren't feeling the whole Viking something in the first place, talk about this heathen ritual, they can't survive here unless they convert to Christianity. You really start to think that maybe at this point, this is when Egbert's like, maybe these guys are right, or maybe this shit's just too extreme at this point in time for this shit to really work out between us. That's the way I look at it. I think at this point, that was a game changer, and Egbert's pretty much like, okay, this might not work out. But that's just my opinion. You have Lagatha sort of smiling, like she knew exactly what this reaction would get, but whatever. Great episode, as usual. Thank you guys for watching my video. I would like you guys to like my video, subscribe to the channel, write some comments down below. And once again, adios. This is your boy Josh Vision.